Peter Wayne brought that article in. He does Tai Chi research, so but he just thought that article was interesting because all the stuff that we do is actually two-sided, and actually we have the bilateral across the body stuff, just like this stuff. This stuff, all this stuff. No, we're way ahead of the game. So, anyways, ready to bow? So don't worry, you can talk and chew gum at the same time. Don't worry. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 2, 3 to your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Circular movements. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center. Cross. Knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center. Hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, center, tilt to the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, center, down, circular movements, 1, 2, 3, reverse, 1, 2, 3, center, hands up, deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, spread your feet, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, we stretch it out. Switch. Switch. Plenty of room right here. You can come right up. Yeah, even up. Yeah. All the way up. All the way up. Yeah. All the people that come late have their own row. Okay, turn, stretch. Okay, other way, switch. 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 Center. Okay, we okay, shake it out. So deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. So when we do those little exercises when you're squatted down and you're moving, you're sort of moving through the stretch, you know. Well, most people stretch, it's kind of a static thing. You just go down and you relax a group of muscles. But when you're in motion and stretching, it's a different action. So that stuff that you read earlier is really that relationship in the body. When this hip does this and that hip does that, it's kind of a give and take. That give and take is how our body has to kind of balance when you move. So there's a contraction and relaxation. If they're both doing this, it's not the same thing. It's when one's like this and you're doing this, like cloud hands, or anything that goes up and down. So that's the bilateral relationship between the right and left side. So, but that's something that we train with, and we tie it through our torso, so movements actually become right and left side. That's just, you know, upper body, lower body becomes right and left. But then you have right and left, upper, lower body. And you have to build the coordination. So that's really a network up here. So, you know, building that network, and most of the, you know, the experts talk about brain plasticity, and then as you age, that's what goes away. So you have to keep renewing that and building that brain plasticity. Hopefully will prevent some of the cognitive decline. But definitely, we have an aging population here even, right? We have people that have been doing it here for like 20 years. So I think after doing it for 20 years, your brain is different from a brain of a person that didn't do this. So there is, tremendous benefit. You see Sam, he went to one of his reunions and he said, "Boy, I'm glad I did Tai Chi." And that's because he said he said some of the people aren't here anymore, but the rest of the people were like, they really have degenerated. So, anyways, deep breathing. And one more. Okay, shoulder roll. Reverse. Okay, center, press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Reverse. Okay, palms down. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Go side to sides a few times. And center. Okay, center. Right foot forward, insert needle. Switch. And center. Okay. Let's work the arms and legs. Switch. Okay, center, side to side. Switch. And center. Shake it out. Hands up. Pull in, inhale. Exhale. Okay, so grilling. Switch. Okay, center, cross, open and close. Switch. Okay, center. Parallel stance. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower. Palms down. Extend. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, Sana, cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up. Carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. Form the fists. Palms together. Turn, draw the bow. Okay, fan to the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, palms down. Deep breathing. Okay, good. So go through the sequence. So, preparation, begin. Okay, deep breathing. Okay, so you want to work on anything specific in the long form? You see, we've gone over the kicks quite a few times. You know, the high pat the horse, beat the tiger. We did that last class. Downward posture, golden cockroach. That's a section that we haven't spent a lot of time on, but so. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, we can lower it. Yeah. I could turn this volume up too. I can turn this volume up. Can you hear it now? Oh. How about now? Huh? Better? Yeah. So, okay, so, when we get to the kicks, we have the setup. So let's just do that section before we do the long. So this is, so sort of understanding the geometry of position. So we have vertical positions, and the vertical position is this. And when you turn to the corner, you see 45 here, 45 here. There's probably about a fist and a thumb distance from your torso. And we turn here. That's your neutral position. That's where strum the lute is. We lift the hand a little bit higher so the palm is in front of the face. That's your palm in front of face position, and that's the vertical elbow. But the vertical elbow isn't truly vertical. It's just elbow down. Because if you go from here to the center and you turn your palm out, you see there's an angular position here as well, right? So that's closing your center. And then when you bring your lower hand in to a hoop position, we have two hand positions. That's your complete circle. But when you're doing a one-handed movement, it actually moves toward the center. Okay, so you can use your thumb as a guideline and the middle finger in this hand. So there's your position. So when you set up, that's where it should go. Automatic goes there because your body will learn through muscle memory, right? And if you turn the hands over, there's the opposite side. When you bring the hands down, then you have to adjust the two shoulders to find the center line. When you go forward and you fold the elbows like this and open, that gives you the high pat the horse. Flip the hands over, cross again, toe out, step up to the empty stance with the toe down, fold the elbows. Okay. So if you look in the mirror, you see that the hands are crossed, but it's even. It's not like that. It's not like that, right? So the only cross hand position you have would be in between those two positions, between horizontal and vertical, right? Okay, so then when you turn, you flatten the elbows up and you expand for the kick. So that's what your arms have to do. That's what your leg has to do. Okay, so we're here. The high pat the horse setup. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then it comes and merges again. Cross. Level off. Open. Flip. Toe out, step up, and fold. Lift up and kick. Now we just put this foot down and leave this hand here. Put it on top. This is what would happen after you made the 180-degree turn. And then you go back to neutral. You set up for the brush knee. And that happens just like the brush knee series. So it's just those two kicks. Now the fourth kick would be this. Same as the first time. This time we face the corner, lift the knees, lift the elbows, and swing around and cross behind the forward leg. And you open your stance, find your center line, go right through the center line, turn the hand out, and turn the body. Drop your elbow, sit back, turn, the lower part turns to the rear corner, find your vertical elbow, turn, and turn back to that corner. That's sort of like Jade Lady work shuttle, and then sit back, pivot the front foot toward the mirror, shift your weight, and here's beat the tiger. So look at the hand, there's a gap between here and here. So you say, well, why is it like that? Because this is a shape, that's your circle. He says, well, I thought it would be here, right? That would, but the thing is, our body's turned slightly like this. Okay, when we're looking to the front. Now, for me to find this position, I'd have to square up like this. Then you would see that that's this. But because we have this position and we turn slightly away in the hips, that gives this side position. So this actually is in a 45 degree corner. Then we lower the hands. This scoots down like this. Now you have your lower hoop. You have your cross hand position. You have your level shoulder position. You lift the knee and you spread the hands and you're down. You lower the hands and you go to 2 punches to the ear. Now you can also come down and turn the hands and then come up. That adds an additional rotation in the hand, but that's, another way to get into the circle. So when we go into these circular movements, all that is a circle. Now, if I sit back and I go forward, I sit back and go forward, that's the 2 punches to the ear. And then when you flip over, what's the reason to flip? Because when you flip, you're changing directions, one thing, and you're also changing directions to get the forearm or the front hand on the same side that you're going to kick. So that's one of the reasons you would flip over. But flipping over is a change in direction because, when I talk about right, left, forward, back, and center, when you reverse the ball or you flip the hands over, you're moving right to left. We only see it as turning the hands over, but this is going that way and this is going that way. So this is going right to left, this is going left to right. And this opposite thing happens. Now when you're here and you bring it down, you're actually going down and up as well. Because this is coming down and this is going up. This is going this way, right to left, right to left. And so that's creating a motion. But what you're doing is also moving your shoulder and it's relaxed. So if we're manipulating our skeletal structure, that's one of the ways of turning. Now as we turn, we can't sort of rely only on the arms. We have to rely on the fact that we're building dimensional change. So we have to turn so it's compatible with the turning of the feet. So when I turn my foot out, it's as if my hands and feet are connected, right? So my upper hand is going in the same direction as my foot. My upper hand, which is the lower hand, becomes the counterbalancing to that motion. And then we sink down. Now it becomes up and down. 1, 2, up and out. And then it's down and across. So you see all the different directions our arms are going through. But we don't pay attention. We just look at the gross movement. But the actual motion actually is different groups of muscles creating different actions. So the accuracy and preciseness of that ties into your geometry of position, the space that you're dealing, which is your relative position, your forehead, shoulder height, vertical line, the waist level, or sort of where your navel is. So if you use your body as a reference, then you can actually start to define your space. So that's something that happens after you kind of memorize your sequence, and that's in your subconscious. But essentially you're dealing with this little square or rectangle here, depending on how tall you are and so forth. But between the two shoulders and the hips, you have a box. So you have the shoulder height, you have the line like that, and you have the line that goes here. So everything is in that square. But then we move into the corners, only dimensionally, directionally, right? So say, for instance, grasp the sparrow's tail. Here's your center line. Here's your oblique line. You say, well, where's the oblique? Well, because we slanted from the side, it's a slant, it's an oblique. We also have an oblique line like this, that's slanted like this, because we're dealing with planes of movement. So we have this box in the vertical plane, then we have this box that comes from the front to the back, right? So if I'm in the vertical position, I go to horizontal, I'm back here, so I have to go forward. So now I just went into this. So this actually is a cube. So when I went forward like that, and I went to this corner, because I turned my shoulders, I open the hands, and I draw the line from here to the hip. I turn this hand up, then I cross over to this side, and I push off the front shoulder. So when we're here, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I turn to this corner, you see the shoulder, and I turn the foot, and I hook my wrist, I'm in the corner. So in other words, I would be here. Then when I open the stance and I turn this foot up, this is still in this corner. I bring this across the vertical, then it goes to this corner, turns out, then reset, and that's single whip. So that's the geometry of position and the muscle memory that you build in your body. But that's very specific and very precise. But how long does it take for that to happen? It takes first the muscle memory of position, then the transitional side is that stuff we're talking about in motion. You have to work the two hemispheres of your brain to do this on this side, this on this side. So the body intelligence that you develop is tremendous. But the thing is, understanding this, and the lines becomes much more clear when you see the lines of movement, because that's what we're doing, is to find these lines of movement. We really can't create just linear movements without these adjustments. So for my hand to go forward, I actually have to move this arm and press forward. So I press forward, you see this arm is expanding. So there's the straight line. So it's creating that straight line. Now, if I sustain the position by turning my shoulders, I'm going from here to this corner, but then I turn my torso. My torso, if you're looking from the top, would be in that corner as an oblique line. Now, to go from here to this hip, I draw a line. But at the same time, I'm turning. Now, when I turn this hand up and I use my waist to bring it across to here and then push out, you created all the points that you have to touch before you create that complete motion, grasp the sparrow's tail. But every final point, that locus of points has to be hit in order to create the volume and the completeness of that movement. That's grasp the sparrow's tail. So if you tie the movement, this is what it would look like. As one continuous motion. See, so the motion itself as doing it in a linear fashion allows us to create the circular motion by taking out the corners. But then when you take out the corners, the size of the movement and the reference points become very clear. And those directions really is the naturalness of motion and how your body is generating movement and patterns to the summation of components. Summation of components is your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your ankle on both sides, tied through your torso. So when my hand does this and does this, there's a lot of adjustments going on through your proprioceptive system, because all that information that we just discussed is what was captured here. But the body doesn't understand it right away. But the lines we understand. And then the visual you see. That if there's a box here and you're tracing that box, you can see the lines a lot clearer, right? So now it's not just a random bunch of movements, and the hands are connected as a training so that when you connect the hands, one follows the other, one leads the other, and the sustaining of the position really goes through square, cross hand, vertical, up and down. See? So that's really what we do with our body when we move. If I did this, 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 and this, you could see the square, right? Right, so this goes up, over, and down. So our joints move just like we're drawing these stick figures. So that's what we do. So, you know, we can understand that, but how do you get that to flow and connect? Because when we're moving our hand like this, we also have to move our legs like this. When we move our legs like this, we also have to turn our hips like this. So if the legs are not ready to do this, then it's not going to tie to this. Because when you're here and you turn, and I sink down and I come to here and I turn, the legs are making these minute adjustments as well. So the legs have to go through forward, back, turn, turn. So the turning is in the spine, vertical spine, and it has to sort of correspond to the motions in the arms. So that's called upper-lower coordination. So for every action above, there's something happens below. For every action below happens above, all tied through your torso. So that's how complicated it can get. But the thing is, through time and practice and experience, it just happens. I'm just giving you the sort of the detail. It's like a 101 to how a movement happens. But the thing is, you know, it's a stage after form. Because if I went through this on day one, you'd probably be like totally, you know, discouraged or whatever. But Mara's going, oh, what's that? Yeah, but the thing is, after you've gone through all of this, after a decade of practice, now you say, okay, how does this all happen? What's the critical, you know, parts of doing this? So this is what has to happen. So that's really the physical geometry of your position, and it's just mapped out. And that's how we learn, and that's how we format things in the brain. So all the stuff that you read on this neurological brain plasticity, it's all tied to movement. Movement actually is the best way to build that brain plasticity. It's not just memory, because memory still leaves the body dysfunctional because it's missing that connection. So, and when you train to this level of building body intelligence, then that has to be a benefit in the long run, you know, for our quality of life. Because we rely on functionality to do the tasks that we have to do daily. So that's why it's so important. But then by moving and building that quality, you avoid all the resistance that your body normally would build into that. That's the defensive mechanisms, the tension, and all the the stress that your body goes through to try to, just to try to stay somewhat normal for the day. So people have aches and pains because they don't know how to move. So, and then if you have parts that are replaced that had wear and tear, those joints may have been moving wrong all along, and we didn't know that. So then the inflammation and the destruction of the joint is caused by something. It's usually inflammation. So by avoiding that through better understanding of the body, then that would help. So anyways, so let's go through what we just went. That's just the first part of the kick, right? So if you get that, then you'll understand the rest of the movements, because they all rely on this motion. That's the key to that motion. Now in the downward posture, when we're here, we turn 45 degrees and drop the elbow, or lift the elbow. There's your flattening of the hand. Okay, so that's the cover. Now when we lean forward like this and turn, that's the cover hand to snake sticks out tongue. Okay, so you end up square. Now when the hand comes up before it goes down and then up again, your hand movements would do this. And then do this. 1, 2. Now if you notice, my hands are still on the center line. So you have to manipulate your shoulder position and the leg position to accommodate that center line and accommodate the center line, and then start to open the stance and pull down toward this supporting leg. And then you would shift your weight, cross the hands, come up through your center, lift this knee, and separate the hands and twist. You have to twist. So here's one of the faults when we do so typically when you first learn golden cockroach would be like this. And your hands are like this. And the body's kind of stiff. The legs, you're looking for balance. But the only way you can actually find your balance position after you come up to the cross hand position is when you separate your hands and twist your shoulders. Now if you look at my spine when I twist my shoulder, it's going into the heel of my supporting leg. Without that twist, you can't really maintain the balance. So what's actually happening when you come into this position and you lift is that this hand is turning, and there's your upper hoop position, you see. So this shape doesn't leave this frame. This hand separates. So this is drawing back like this, like we draw back like this. The same physical body action in the torso. So when you draw back, that movement is like separation. It's called splitting. So when you split the hands and turn the waist, that gives you structure, integrity, and position. But when we draw like this, we lift the knee. And then we come down. This comes down to here, and then you thrust as you go into the vertical leg position and kick. You see? So every time you go into a vertical one-legged position, you have to stack your skeleton, right? So when you stack your skeleton, you have to go to one side and you lift. Or you go to one side and lift. So this has to be a vertical line. So we don't understand the vertical line because we think it's somewhere in here. So when we lift, it's like this. See, so that's why our body doesn't recognize, the correct position to stand on one leg. That's why we have trouble walking and not carrying the load on one leg. So if you're doing Tai Chi to improve your balance, you have to carry your load on one leg. But that builds strength, and it also builds, awareness of position, because your sensory system knows all of these little things because your you're building it. So when we shift our body and you start to do this, it's because this is reacting to this out of position. So if you're fortunate, you capture yourself and then you correct it. But if it's abrupt, then you could end up falling down, right? Because our response would be tension, not relaxation. So your response is typically counterintuitive. It thinks you're losing your balance. So instead of fixing it, it starts to get tight, and then you get heavy on the top, and then you start to tumble. But where you capture yourself is in the legs. What's that? So yeah. So we're like this. Cross hand. Let's go cross hand. Get this foot forward. Then we lift and turn. And go down. Cross, lift, and turn. Cross, lift. You got to find the position and then lift. And then put it down. Lift and down. Lift and down. Now, this is different. This is actually Yang style golden cockroach. The Wu style golden cockroach, we turn and we split the hand and we bring this knee up like this. And then we go. Now, the upper body, it has to be passive. The arms have to be passive. Don't put too much strength in the arms. And lift. Now, once you turn, you can find your line. Once you tense, then it ends up like that. So, yeah. Yeah, so when you go like this position, this is part of the motion as if you're kicking, but it's not a real kick. Yeah. The second one is a real kick. And then you go back. The first one, because we're coming from downward posture, we're coming up like this. So that swing would be that. So that swing is this. The left one. So this is the kick, and then this is the pullback. Now you have to turn the opposite way. Yeah. Yeah. So that requires a little bit of flexibility like this. Probably a motion that most of us wouldn't do normally, but she has good flexibility there because she sits like that a lot. Yeah, yeah. Because she sits like that in that spread leg position. She has that flared out position. I think they used to call this the tailor's muscle, where they sit and they sew. But anyways, that's what we have to go through to develop the different postures. So, but that's, it's part of the... So when we try to integrate, that's the total part of it. But the thing is, you just practice this. From cross hand to separation. Cross hand to separation. And now look in my arm. It's not over there. It's over here. This is on your center line. This is by your forehead. And you say, well, how far should it be here, 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 here? It's right here. The same as this. Only thing is you turn your torso. On the opposite side, it's that. Okay. Now if you were to shift your weight, you would be like this. And then you bring your foot here to balance. And then when you turn, you add the knee. So you kind of work in stages to build some control and some positioning, and then you tie it all together. So it does, you're building a new pattern in your body, and you have to build this formatted into the brain so that it kind of understands what the target positions are. But these actually should be in the system, your system, but the thing is it doesn't recognize it once you turn. This one is actually on the open side. This was is on this side where you have maybe Jade Lady work shadow or beat the tiger. But once you lift your leg, that's a new format. And the cross-referencing becomes something new that the body has to adapt to. But once you have that, then your body will, it's easier to do when you're going through it. It's slow motion, it's tough because you have little, you get a little anxious, maybe some anxiety there. But the thing is, once you kick and you pull back, then you move. It's easy to just go through it. Now, I think in one of the classes we worked on how to lift the knee. So we lift, we lift, we lift, we lift. When you lift, so that helps you get up into the position because you want this straight. The reason why you want it straight and not really locked, but it gives you a stacking of your skeleton. The stacking of skeleton puts the less effort in the body because if you're slightly tilted like this gets tight. See? So that's kind of understanding how to go into positions without using a lot of strength. So that was one of, all the old teachers, their pet peeves are always telling you not to use strength. But most people take it, too far and don't use any strength, and it ends up like this. But you have to use the correct strength. So in Tai Chi they say use your will and not strength. So will is the intent. No strength means correct strength. So if you understand that theory, then you'll try not to be excessive. But when they tell you that, your body doesn't understand it. You just take that as a theory. But the thing is, no strength means do it with as little strength as you can until your body calculates how much strength it needs. Then it deletes all the excessiveness, the erroneous motions that shouldn't be there. Then eventually your body knows it. So, but we didn't get to the form. Well, today's Veterans Day, so it's theoretical day for all the veterans that are here. We have quite a few people here that are here 20 years. Yeah. Okay, ready? And over here too. All right. Okay.